number 3 in the country. Good evening and welcome to the Bluefield College Dome Gymnasium. We're just a few minutes away from tip-off between the Bluefield Rams and the number 3 Georgetown Tigers. The Rams come into play 1-1 on the season, taking on the nationally ranked Georgetown Tigers, 4-0, and predicted in the preseason polls to win the Mid-South Conference this year. The women's basketball team just pulled off an upset 10-point win over the 6th-ranked women's Georgetown Tigers. The men's team looking to come in and do the same. The Rams enter the season as the last-place team selected by the Mid-South Conference coaches preseason poll. Tigers come into the year as the top team in the Mid-South Conference and 3rd-ranked in the NAI Division I preseason coaches poll. Bluefield is led by a pair of 20-plus point scorers in senior center Byron Carpenter and junior guard Kirsten Marion. Carpenter, 6'7", Virginia Beach native, last year's Appalachian Athletic Conference Player of the Year, picked up right where he left off with back-to-back strong performances, put up a double-double against Virginia University of Lynchburg with 23 points and 13 boards in a losing effort before scoring 23 to go along with 9 boards in the Rams win over crosstown rival Bluefield State last week. Marion, Houston, Texas native, opened the season with a 25-point performance against VUL and then dropped 27 against Bluefield State. He's averaging a career best 26 points per game. That is good enough for 1st in the Mid-South Conference. Byron Carpenter 3rd in the Mid-South Conference in scoring. Last year, the 5'8" guard Marion scored 16.7 points per game in 35, but scored a career-high 36 in the Rams' 86-73 win over Virginia Intermont. Sophomores Andrew Wilson and Deontay Hollums have scored in double figures this season, but averaged 9.5 and 7 points per game, respectively. Hollums, 6'5", post player, ranks 9th in the NAIA in offensive boards per game at 4. Great job creating second-chance opportunities. And Wilson, as little as he is, gets down there, he's averaging about 4 boards per game. 3rd-ranked Tigers, led by 3-time NAIA All-American Vic Moses. But Moses not making the trip tonight. He will not be here for this game. Disciplinary benching. Monty Wilson, leading scorer on the season that will actually be playing, 13.75 points per game. Michael Parker, 13 points a game. DeAndre McWhorter, 11.7 points per game. Gerald Craig, 11.25 per game. And Alan Thomas, 10.75 points per game. So these guys really spread out the attack and put up a lot of points. McWhorter, 6'8" forward, pulled down a season-high 14 boards and leads the team in rebounds per game at 8. 6'9", Mark Montavious matched McWhorter's high of 14 and averages 7.25 per game in their most recent outing. Gerald Craig, 2nd in the nation in assists per game, 9.75, a good distributor at point guard for the Tigers. But he turns the ball over and averages 6 times per game, including 11 turnovers against Miami Middletown in 40 minutes of play. Starting lineups for the Rams being announced right now on the court. We'll take a look at them. We've already mentioned the players to watch. Those players to watch pretty much the starters for the Ram. The guard, number 2, Andrew Wilson, 5'7", sophomore out of Cucamonga, California, 9.5 points per game. His scoring average down a bit from last year. He averages 3.5 assists and 4 boards. Really struggling shooting the ball from the floor so far, looking to get that turned around tonight. He did score a season-high 11 against VUL. That was his first game of the season. At the other guard position, not really a point guard on this team, a pair of hybrid guards between Wilson and number 5, Kirsten Marion, the 5'8 junior out of Houston, Texas. Ranks 4th in the country in scoring coming into this game. 26 points per game for Kirsten Marion. Players and teammates call him Houston. Devin Page also expected to get the start tonight, the 6'5" redshirt freshman forward out of Newport News, Virginia. 6.5 points a game, shooting 55% from the floor on the season, also bringing in 6 boards a game. Just missed his first career double-double as he scored 9 points and collected 7 boards against Bluefield State last week. Deontay Hallams has worked his way into the starting lineup. As we said before, good offensive rebounder for a game. 5.5 points per game, shooting 50% from the floor through the first 2 games of the season. And the big man in the middle, the center, Byron Carpenter, an All-American a year ago, 2nd in offensive rebounds per game, 6th in total rebounds per game, 11th in points per game. Last year's AAC Player of the Year, averaging 23.5 per game and 11 rebounds, a double-double for the senior. Coming into this game tonight with Georgetown. 3rd-year head coach Richard Morgan directing the Rams. Looking to pick up their first Mid-South Conference win in their first Mid-South Conference game. Brand new conference with Bluefield moving up from NAIA Division II to Division I this year. Formerly a charter member of the Appalachian Athletic Conference, where they have fantastic success for years. One of the best programs in Division II for a while. Could never get it done for the national title, but had some good runs in the national tournament. Produced stars like Omar Juice Reed, currently in the Boston Celtics organization. The big man right now in the program, Byron Carpenter, one of the best players in the country at this level. Trying to get things turned around. They struggled with Bluefield State last week, but came away with the win, an NCAA Division II program out of the Weviac, and really struggled against VUL to open up the season. Tip-off is here now. Carpenter gets the tip, but it goes to the Tigers. Laying it up and throwing the ball out of bounds was DJ Townsend. But they're going to call a foul and send him to the free throw line. Yes, they will, for 2 shots. So Townsend's going to head to the free throw line to get us started. A freshman out of Moorhead, Kentucky. First free throw is good, and Georgetown is on the board first. This Georgetown team, very clearly one of the best teams in the country. 3rd in three-point defense. They only allow teams to shoot 20% from beyond the arc. 4th in the country in rebound margin, averaging over 18 a game in that margin. 48 total rebounds a game, the average on the season. 4th, that's also best for 4th in the country. 5th in blocks per game, 7th in scoring margin per game. And the Rams turn it over. Laying it up off the up and under move is Alan Thomas, and it's 4-0 Georgetown. Rams wearing their white jerseys going from left to right. Georgetown, white jerseys with the orange letters. Marion on the wing. Kicks it back out to Drew Wilson, and they'll reset the offense. 20 on the shot clock. Less than a minute into the game, Georgetown already dropped a bucket and a pair of free throws. Lead 4-0. Trying to drive to the basket and lay it up was Devin Page, but he drew a lot of contact. The ball was tipped out of bounds, and we'll stay at this end. Marion's going to take the ball out on the baseline, kicks it out to Andrew Wilson. 10 seconds on the shot clock. And Wilson's going to give himself a little isolation. Pulls up from 3, and it's well short. Wilson really struggling shooting the ball this season. 1 of 14 shooting for 3 against VUL to open up the season. Driving to the basket, laying it up, no good, but Alan Thomas. Board comes down to Byron Carpenter. Pushing the tempo a little bit. Here's Marion, a little step back, puts up the 3, knocks it down. Rams are on the board, it's 4-3. Nice step back move from Houston Marion. One of the biggest crowds we've seen in a basketball game here at the Dome in quite a while. Limited seating available in this building, but we are standing room only as these Bluefield students come out and try to support their team, and a turnover. Ball goes back to the Rams. That's DeAndre McWhorter. Took an extra step. And a break for Bluefield. Andrew Wilson, running the point guard right now, brings the ball across half court. One of the things that the Rams really have as an advantage over some of these Mid-South teams are these two quick, shifty guards. We see Houston Marion here driving to the basket. He lays it up short. But hybrid guards both can really bring the ball up court quickly as the ball gets worked up to Monty Wilson. He lays it in off the glass. 6-3 Georgetown leading. Clock rolls under 18 minutes. Wilson works it around to Page. We have yet to see Georgetown really set up in an offensive set. There's been all in the fast break. Nice pass from Deontay Hallam's into Byron Carpenter as he gets nice position under the basket and lays it in. First bucket of the game for the Rams senior. It's 6-5. Craig bringing the ball up court, the 6'3" senior out of New Jersey. Under the basket, big body move from Deontay McWhorter. Layup's no good. McWhorter picks up his own rebound and gets stuffed by Devin Page, but they're going to call a foul.
Here comes Christmas, baby. Come on, DC.
McWhorter really getting physical down low. A lot of bodies bouncing off bodies. It's going to be a tough game inside, it already looks like. 6'8". Freshman forward puts up the first free throw and knocks it down. Certainly a size advantage in this game for Georgetown, especially with the Rams' two guards being 5'7" and 5'8". But the quickness of Marion and Wilson, something that these teams, according to they themselves, them being Wilson and Marion, these teams have not seen before, and they certainly expect to have an advantage in that department. Hallam's draws a foul as he backs the ball down on the block, and they'll take it out on the baseline. First team foul against the Tigers. Marion kicks it out to Wilson. Wilson guarded tightly. Backs it back out. Motion offense. Rams swing the ball over to Page. Page working the ball at the elbow. Byron Carpenter almost lost the ball. He does lose the ball. It goes out of bounds, and they're going to call it a turnover. Say that Carpenter did not have it tipped out. He just lost control, so the ball goes back over to the Tigers. Another Rams turnover. Certainly not something you can live with when you're hosting the number 3 team in the country. Ball swung back out to Townsend. Townsend works it around to Craig. Patient offense by Georgetown. Into the corner for Thomas. He puts up the jump shot and knocks it down over Deontay Hallam's. And it's an 11-5 lead, 6 points. Georgetown has built the cushion over the Rams. With 16:20 left in the first half, Page works around to Hallam's. Hallam's puts the ball on the floor, fades away, and the shot no good. Really a forced effort there on offense. Turns into nothing for the Rams. And here comes Georgetown on the fast break. 16 minutes left, wide open for three. Moses. Maybe that's Thomas. Alan Thomas knocks down the three, the senior out of Queens, New York. And it's 14-5. Georgetown's opened up a 9-point lead. Richard Morgan wants a timeout. 3 turnovers already for Bluefield. Georgetown has knocked down both of their three-point attempts, hitting 2 of 2 from deep. The Rams on offense looking a little bit bothered. They're really not looking very fluid. Taking a couple of bad shots, especially that last one by Hallam's. He did a good job to create himself some space, but really just trying to fall away and hope that the ball fell through. Found no luck. 14-5. Hallam's takes the ball out underneath the basket with 16:02 to play in the first half. Kirsten Marion now taking over the duties of bringing the ball up court. We told you these two guards are going to switch off on those assignments. Try to bring different looks. Georgetown ball underneath to Hallam's. Shifts his weight up in the air, but layup no good. Should have just gone up strong and tried to take the foul. Coming down court, laying it up and drawing the foul is Alan Thomas. Alan Thomas heads to the free throw line. Too strong on the first free throw as it rolls around, no good. .75% free throw shooter on the season was Thomas, only 3 of 4 coming in. He knocks this one down. It's a 10-point lead for the Tigers. Wilson now back at point guard, brings the ball across half court. Under a lot of defensive pressure, Marion swings it out for Devin Page, who puts up a 3, knocks it down. Devin Page, not known for his outside shooting, gets that one to fall, and it's 15-8.
Get out there, baby.
Page on the season was 0 for 2 shooting from outside before that shot. Blocked underneath by Carpenter, but the ball bounces back around to McWhorter, and he drops it in. 17-8, Georgetown leads by 9. Devin Page tries to work it down inside to Carpenter. Ball's tipped around by McWhorter. Carpenter stays with it, shows out some nice moves as he works his way into the basket, banks it off the glass for the bucket. 4 points for Byron Carpenter. It's 17-10. 14:30 left in the first half. Georgetown slowing things down quite a bit as Chris Briggs, the Tigers head coach, yells in from the sideline. 15 on the shot clock. Georgetown has yet to really get the offensive set started. Passing the ball back and forth across the top. Craig, little isolation, throws it down underneath, kicked back out. Here's a 3 ball from Thomas, knocks it down. 20-10. 14 minutes to play. Georgetown doubling up Bluefield. Wilson, deep 3, and he answers. Andrew Wilson really struggling from 3 on the season, but he gets that one to fall. Foul called out the other end. Wilson came into the game shooting 2 of 20 on 3-pointers on the season. He knocks that one down, 1 of 2. He considers himself a 3-point shooter, and he did well in that department last year. Not necessarily well, but certainly a lot better than he's done so far this year. He gets that one to fall from deep. About a 23-foot 3-point shot from Andrew Wilson. It's 20-13. Defensive board comes down to Devin Page. Brams off on the break. Marion really turning it up here, showing off that quickness. The junior out of Houston, Texas. Carpenter backing down the basket, draws the foul. Byron Carpenter looking about as comfortable early on as we've seen him look really since he's been in a Rams uniform. Showing off some nice moves to work his way down to the basket and draw the foul. He's going to head to the line for a pair of free throws.
Go, baby.
69% free throw shooter on the season. He's improved that department quite a bit. Knocks down the first one. But a big difference between Byron Carpenter in the 2011-2012 season and Byron Carpenter this year. He draws contact down in the paint this year. He doesn't get frustrated. He stays with it and goes with it. Last year, you gave him a body, you could take him out of the game completely. We saw that in a few games. One that comes to mind was the game at Union. Well, the Rams got beaten, a bit of an upset. Carpenter rendered ineffective in that night. 20-15, 13:20 to play in the first half as Carpenter knocks down the second free throw. Rams have cut the lead back to 5. And Georgetown still content to keep this quite the slow game as they work the ball around at the top of the key. Craig throws up the alley-oop, and slamming it down is Michael Parker. The transfer from the University of Maryland shows off the alley-oop, 22-15. Carpenter gets it tipped. Hallams comes away with the loose ball. Driving to the basket, banking it off the glass. A good answer from Deontay Hallams. Getting physical inside. Not a very big kid. 6'4", probably about 185 pounds. Showing off some good strength inside. 22-17, 12:30 to play in the first half. Parker swings it into the corner for Thomas. He puts up a 3, no good. Rebound comes down to Kirsten Marion. Marion heads off on the fast break, countering. Good moves again. Drawing oohs and ahs from this crowd here at the Dome. Wilson for three, knocks it down. Drew Wilson makes this a 2-point game. It's 22-20. And a timeout called by Chris Briggs. Here come the Rams storming back on a 10-2 run. With 12-12 to play in the first half, they trail 22-20. Andrew Wilson's already reached his season total in three-pointers made. He came into this game 2 of 20 from outside. Now he's 2 of 3 tonight. That's an aspect of this team's game that they really need to see get going. Andrew Wilson's shooting. Definitely something they're going to need moving forward. He has been really struggling from the floor through these first 2 games. Had a decent game in the exhibition against Marshall University, taking on the Thundering Herd up in Huntington a couple weeks ago. But against VUL and Bluefield State, had a bit of trouble, still able to post a pretty good average, came in averaging 9.5 points a game, but we know that he's capable of much more. Coming back out of the timeout, Rams down 22-20 on a 10-2 run against the number 3 ranked Georgetown Tigers. Craig continuing to show a lot of patience, not much movement on the offense, and it's turned over. Parker mishandles it. Marion comes away with the steal, and we're tied at 22 as Marion goes from one end to the other, tips the ball away, lays it up with the left hand. We're tied. A 12-2 run from the Rams, keeping the defensive pressure on, trying to keep the run going. Craig slings it around. Thomas inside, and going up and drawing the foul was Deontay McWhorter. 11:32 left in the first half. 22 all, and McWhorter is going to head to the free throw line for a pair of foul shots. Four points on the game for McWhorter. Knocks down the first one. He's now 3 of 3 from the charity stripe. It's the second one, 22-24. Wilson slowing things down a little bit, gets the ball across half court. Devin Page out on the wing. Marion swinging back around, wide open for three, knocks, missed it. It rolled in and out, but he drew the foul. Foul goes against Alan Thomas. That one really looked like it was on line to go in. Got a little bit ahead of myself there. But 3 shots upcoming for Kirsten Marion. 85% free throw shooter on the year, leads the Rams in that category, with a chance to earn 3 points the hard way. The first shot rolls around and in. Marion now with 6 points on the game, trying to tie us up here with this second free throw. 11:19 left in the first half. He bangs that one home. We're tied at 24. Shy Jones checks into the game and will give a breather to Deontay Hallams. First substitution of the game for the Rams comes 8.5 minutes into the game. Really relying on their starting 5 to eat up a lot of minutes in this one. Tough to do when you have a team that runs as much as Bluefield does. Marion rolls in and out with the third free throw, but gets 2 out of 3 to tie us at 24. Monty Wilson left all alone, puts up a 3, no good. Rebound comes down, it's tipped out to Kirsten Marion. Marion waiting for numbers. Fires a pass into a wide open Devin Page, who goes up and lays it in. Rams lead 26-24, 16-4 run. And Bluefield has its first lead of the game. Craig dribbles it, almost went out of bounds, double teamed in the corner. Forces the pass off to Parker, swings it back around. And the Tigers look to reset. Michael Parker gets the ball in the corner, puts it on the hardwood. Backs it back out, 10 on the shot clock. And they're going to call a carry against Michael Parker, the junior, out of North Carolina with the turnover. Ed Porter's going to check into the game. The Portsmouth, Virginia native from I.C. Norcom High School, back down in my hometown. One of the many 757 products on this basketball team. Porter running the point, brings the ball across half court. Getting a little bit cute with the basketball is Porter. He gives it off to Shy Jones. Jones down the lane, pulls up, kicks it back out to Andrew Wilson. 17 on the shot clock, 10-14 to go in the first half. Rams leading 26-24. Wilson showing off that quickness, drives the basket, but he gets housed. Big block, comes back out. Should have been a goaltend, wasn't called. Porter gets it back. 5 on the shot clock, and a foul is going to go against the Tigers. That's the most frustrating foul if you're a head coach, and Chris Briggs is not going to like it. A foul against the defense with 4 seconds left on the shot clock. That'll make any coach hang his head. Fresh 35 for the Rams, 10:02 to play in the first half, leading 26-24. Shy Jones takes the ball out on the sideline. Rams on a 16-4 run. Devin Page gets the inbound pass, gives it up to Ed Porter. Rams offense really extended well out about 30 feet from the basket. Porter dribbles the ball around and almost lost it. Kicks it back out to Drew Wilson, and they'll reset. Carpenter putting the ball on the floor, driving to the basket, lays it up short. Rebound comes down to the Tigers. They're off on the fast break. Craig swings it out. 3-ball up from Townsend. No good. Rebound comes down to Michael Parker. Drives into the basket strong, and it's tipped out. No good. Drew Wilson takes it off on the break, pulls up for a 3. No good. Too strong. Devin Page gets tripped up by his own teammate, falls to the floor, and turns the ball over. Craig comes away with it. And then a foul's going to get called against Shy Jones. On a little bit of a reach, trying to play defense to cut off Garcelle Craig. Strange development at the other end that last time as Devin Page tried to put the ball on the floor and drive to the basket, got tripped up by Ed Porter. Turned the ball over and sent it back the other way for Georgetown. A little bit of a scoreless drought here, 26-24. The Rams on top. They don't mind. They have the lead. Craig takes it back out and slows us back down to this sleepy little pace that Georgetown is running. Swings it back around wide open. Monty Wilson knocks down the 3, put Georgetown back on top, 27-26. Very slow offense from Georgetown in this game, but it's working for them. They're getting the ball in, 27-26. Jones might have gotten away with the travel. They're going to call it there. He walked twice on that, slid across the floor when he picked the ball up, got away with that one, and then got a little bit of defensive pressure and picked his foot up. Hallams comes back into the game after a short breather. He'll get Devin Page. And Houston Marion's going to come back in as well and give Andrew Wilson a little bit of a break. So on the floor now for the Rams, Ed Porter, Kirsten Marion, Shy Jones, Byron Carpenter, and Deontay Hallams. 8:48 to play in the first half. The Rams trail by 1 to the number 3 team in the country. It's 27-26. Parker gives it back up to Craig. Another alley-oop attempt. This one's tipped up in the air. Parker does a great job to stay with it as he hits the deck with the ball one time. Banks it off the glass for the bucket. 29-26. Georgetown getting things back together now. They lead again by 3. Porter swings the ball around to Hallams. Carpenter backing down inside the paint. Nice move, gets up, and it gets tipped and blocked. Carpenter comes back down with it. A nice pump fake, goes up and lays it in. Great effort to stay with that ball by Byron Carpenter. He knocks it in. It is 29-28. See the Rams go on that big run. And then you notice as soon as they pull out their starters, the foul into the basket goes against Corey Washburn. Shy Jones drawing the offensive foul well away from the ball, and the Rams will take back over, down by 1 point. But as I was saying, you see the Rams pull out their starters, and they struggle quite a bit. Something that they are having a problem with early on this season is definitely depth. They've got a lot of guys ineligible right now, some transfers still waiting on clearance from the NAIA, and a lot of guys that will be joining the team in January when most of conference play takes place. Of course, the conference opener tonight. But the starting 5 for the Rams, pretty solid. You get down into that 7 to 12 range, and the Rams are struggling. Almost turned over as the ball is tipped out of bounds by Michael Parker. Ed Porter lost it. But a little bit of youth and inexperience on this Rams team going down through the depth chart. Marion gets the ball on the wing. Picks it up at the elbow, puts up a floater and knocks it down. Rams back on top, 30-29. 7:30 in the first half remaining. Two contrasting offensive styles so far. The Rams, a team that love to get up and down the floor. Georgetown certainly okay with taking their sweet time to get any kind of offense going. 3 ball, no good. Shot no good that time for Michael Parker. Rams come away with the rebound. Head back the other way. Here's Ed Porter. Gives the ball up to Byron Carpenter, away from the basket. Puts up a shot too strong. Coming flying in as Deontay Helms gets the board. 3 ball from Marion. He knocks it down. 33-29, and the fans here at the Dome are on their feet. Timeout, Chris Briggs. 4-point lead for the Rams. It's 33-29. Credit that bucket to Kirsten Marion, but a big help on that from Deontay Helms as he stayed with it, came flying through for the offensive rebound off the missed shot from Byron Carpenter. Kicked it out to Marion in the corner, and he drained the 3 ball. 33-29. 7:56 left in the first half. Marion now with 12 points on the game after that bucket. Leading all of the Rams scores. Alan Thomas for Georgetown also has 12. He's knocked down 3 3-pointers, really getting it done outside for the Tigers. Teams come back out onto the floor after the timeout by Chris Briggs, trying to quiet this Rams home crowd.
Big D, Rap!
Craig brings the ball up court very slowly. No defensive pressure, still barely cleared the timeline before 10 seconds had gone off. Underneath and wide open is McWhorter as he lays it up and in. 33-31 the score. Rams leading by 2. Number 3 team in the country traveling for the Rams' first Mid-South Conference game in their program's history. Byron Carpenter, nice moves under the basket. Falls out no good. Helms throws the ball up. The Georgetown player, whose ball? Bluefield ball. Helms, another heads-up play as he throws it off the head of Monty Wilson. Keeps the ball in the possession of Bluefield. A lot of time here for Marion. He just barely gets the ball in before the 5th second. Carpenter underneath, forces it up, but he gets it to fall. What moves from Byron Carpenter. He is on a brand new level. We have never seen him play like this. 35-31. Byron Carpenter now with 10 points. Carpenter has really stepped his game up from his All-American performance a year ago. Stepping on the baseline was Craig, and the ball's turned back over to the Rams. Substitution, Michael Parker's going to check back in. Alan Thomas is going to take a seat. And we have hit the media timeout for under 6. 5:56 left in the first half. The Rams up 30.